Hey guys, today we're going to cover a full beginner's guide to AI automations in 2025 with Mick to allow you to build your own AI systems as easy as Lego. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Before we get started, just to share more about myself, my name is Cal from Dainami AI, and my goal is to explore and share practical AI automation use cases and workflows we can build today to get ahead in this AI race. And so, what is AI automation and why is it so important? AI automation essentially is the act of using artificial intelligence to streamline repetitive tasks, enhance workflow efficiency, and make intelligent decisions for us. So what this does is that it allows you to create your own AI army. And through this AI automation tutorial today, you're firstly going to learn how to unlock the potential of AI automation to transform your work by learning step by step on how to design AI automation workflows that are effective that you can use immediately. And lastly, to replicate and create AI systems to revolutionize every area of your life. And just to show you how much of an impact AI automation makes, here's an example of a manual AI workflow. While it's definitely faster and more efficient than normal workflows, you can see from here, let's say the example goal is to create Instagram news posts with AI. You still have to manually search for the article first, and then you would have to use ChatGPT to ideate, script, and create your content. Following that, you have to take the information from ChatGPT to generate AI images using Midjourney manually, and lastly, to manually use Canva to combine all of this for scheduling. So while the process definitely helps and you can still do it all by yourself, it is all still manual work that takes up your time, and you could only scale and expand this by hiring more workers to help you do each of this category, where you still have to teach them how to use each of the AI tool. But here's the exciting part. With AI automation, you can now fully automate the exact sequence that we just spoke about. For example, instead of manually searching for news, you could use an app like RSS to auto-scrape the latest news in your own specific niche. You could create your own feed and script the news that you want on an automatic basis. Following that, you can pass all this information to ChatGPT and train it to automatically ideate, script, and create content for you in the specific manner that you want. And it doesn't stop there. You could then pass all of this to Midjourney to auto-generate your AI images, and lastly to send them to Canva with ready templates to help you create your posts. And essentially, all you gotta do is to create this system once, and AI will do the work for you daily now like your own AI army, while the only thing you have left to do is to just approve them and check the final product. So this act itself shows you how AI automation could save up your time and help you create an AI army to work for you while you sleep. So as you can see, the value of AI automation is really massive. Firstly, as you could see from the previous example, the automated system could save us hundreds of hours a day by automating every part of our workflow. And this in return could 10x our productivity, creating 10 times the output at the same quality or more, allowing us to become a one-man team and expand ourselves into all of the different areas, making AI work for us like our clones. So I know all of this sounds super exciting, so today we're going to go through step by step on how you could build your own AI automation workflows as well. And before we continue, do download the resources in the link in the description below to follow along more effectively. Alright, and so the tool we're going to use today is Make. Make is an amazing AI automation tool that allows us to connect different applications together to create powerful AI automation workflows just by dragging and dropping them like Lego blocks. And all of this could be done with low or no code, making it super accessible to everyone. So just to get started, all you have to do is to go to make.com, create an account, and you have 1000 credits to get started. Now before we go into the Make platform and test it out, there are a couple of key terms that we'll be using a lot in our automation workflow that you should know to get you started. Firstly is API, which is Application Program Interface. APIs essentially are connectors, ways to connect features of each tool with another via a trigger or hook. And so essentially, when people talk about APIs of different applications, all you want to do is to connect them together. For example, I would use the API of ChatGPT to connect it into my Make automation to allow me to utilize the function of ChatGPT to do the work for me. Now, not to worry, later on in our example, you have a better understanding of how this actually works, but just keep this in mind for now. Secondly is the API keys. This is sort of like a password access to your account. And this is crucial to give access to each tool in the automation, as that's because if we are using the functions of other tools like ChatGPT and RSS, we do have to pay credits for each of the use case in our automation system. While some of you might think, why do I have to pay to use these applications in my workflow? It is actually minimal if you know how to use it effectively, and if we were to not use them, we would actually have to develop these whole features, which may cost us thousands or millions of dollars. So essentially in today's AI world, we are actually given the privilege to utilize functions and features from different tools to allow us to create our own automation processes that we can then sell to customers or use it for our own specific use cases. So APIs is one of the things that I find most fascinating to allow everyone to get their hands dirty and get into AI automation. Lastly, the third most important term is hooks. And you hear a lot about custom or web hooks. And so essentially it's sort of like a trigger to get information from one place to another, right? So what it does is that it sends data from one application to another or system. For example, if a user fills up a Google form with their details such as name and email address, we could then have all of this information sent over to our automation that we could use in our automation workflow. And this is essentially super effective into creating the systems that we want. And one good example is, let's say if you want to create an article summarizer for users, a user could then send in a link of an article that they want to summarize. From there, we use the webhook to then send it through our AI automation system to create a summary and return it to them. And that's just a simple example of how this works. Once again, I know all of this theory may sound confusing right now, but just keep that at the back of your mind, because in the next couple of examples, we'll run through them in real time and you will understand better on how to use them more effectively. So now let's go into Make to test out the interface. So now coming to make.com, you want to create an account just by clicking the Get Started Free button over here. Once you're done with that, you'll get into a page that looks like this. And so operations are how many actions are taken in your automation. And you have 1,000 per month to get started for free, so you have more than enough to play with. And so you can think of this sort of as credits for our Make automation to work. Now moving on to the most important part of Make is scenarios. Scenarios essentially are blueprints of automations that you have created. For example, I show you one over here. You can take a look at this scenario, and this is a scenario of article summarizer that I have created. You can see over here, all these bubbles over here are called modules, and modules are essentially applications that we add to our workflow. A scenario over here is the full flow of what I've done that allows me to get information from a webhook and then convert the information into text using these two modules, and then using GPT to create title and an article summary for me and send it back to the user. And so every time you want to create a different automation, you would essentially be creating a different scenario. And so in the front page of the scenario, there is also a graph to help you understand how much operations and data transfer has been used, so that will help you understand how much credits you need to use for each of your automation. So now I'm going to show you how to create one. Firstly, click create a new scenario, and from there you can name the scenario, for example, testing scenario. Okay, over here you get to see a purple bubble which allows you to add in the different applications. So when you click into it, you have all these different applications that you can add in for your automation, right? For example, you want to have a ChatGPT application. You click into this, OpenAI, and let's say we want to prompt ChatGPT to do something for us. We can click something like create a completion. This allows us to prompt ChatGPT for an answer. And so to better help you understand, we'll be creating 3 different scenarios today from level 1 to level 3 to showcase the power of AI automations and all of the functions in Make. So now before we return to Make to automate a workflow, there are a couple of steps we need to think about before every single automation. Firstly, we want to define our need, right? We want to understand exactly what do we want to automate. And ideally, it's best if this is something that we have done before or something that we have an idea about, so that we can actually implement the best practices into our AI automation workflow. Secondly, from there, we want to think of the tools needed. What are the tools needed for our automation workflow? For example, if we want to create an article summarizer, we'll need to scrape the internet for the news articles. We'll then need to be able to use ChatGPT to summarize this content, and then we need to send them to our Drive or our Gmail or upload them into the application. And these are different tools that we'll need to use for the different functions. Lastly, before you get started in Make, you don't want to get too confused and get stuck right away. So you want to draft up a basic workflow diagram first to see whether it makes sense or whether it works, and then see if you can slot in the different tools to help you make this automation come to life. And so I'm going to show you an example of how I would start the automation. So let's say for today's automation purposes, I want to generate quotes daily and send it as a daily inspiration via email. Essentially what I want is to have an automation system that sends me motivational quotes every single morning to brighten my day and motivate me for work. And so I'm going to start off with the very basic level of how this automation can work. And I'm going to start off by thinking, what I want to do is to have a different quote every single day. I'll start by asking ChatGPT to generate a short inspirational quote every single day. And from there, I want to schedule this and create a template email and send the quote to me on a daily basis. You can see over here, this is how I created a simple diagram for this specific workflow. And now, we're going to build this in Make to show you exactly how this works. So with this idea in mind, I'm going back to Make, and I'm going to create a new scenario. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to change this to level 1, send email. Alright, and so what should I build right away? going back to my slides, I want to use ChatGPT to generate a short inspirational quote. And so I'm going to search for ChatGPT and I'm going to click create a completion to prompt ChatGPT. Now here's where API comes in. You can see the connection that I have is already made connected, but if you're a first-time user, you do need to connect the API to this. So how you're going to do so is you're going to go into platform.openai to create a developer account. Once you have that, you want to make sure you have some credits logged into this. And from there, you will have an API key created over here. Now, if you don't have an API key created over here under the API key section, you just have to click create a new secret key, type in the name, make automation, and that's where you will get a new secret key over here. Once you have that, you want to copy the key. Make sure it's kept safe because this will take up your credit every time someone else uses it. You're going to move back to make, and from here, you're going to open up this app again. And from here, I'm just going to add to show you how it works. You have a pop-up like this when you first connect. You want to type in your API key and give it a connection name and click save. And once you click save, you will have a connection like this. Now, once that's done, this is where we can start talking to ChatGPT. So instead of chatting with ChatGPT on the platform, we want it to automatically give us the answer. So what I'm going to do is to leave the method as create a chat completion so that we can talk to ChatGPT. And I'm going to choose a model. And so you have all the models that you can choose from. And I'm going to choose GPT-4o for now. And from here, I'm going to click add message. I'm going to create a row and I'm going to click user. And from here, I'm going to type in a text content. So I'll type in something like this. Generate a short inspirational quote to start off the day. Add an encouraging line of text following this to Cal. Essentially, I want to see if they can address this quote to me as well. Okay, once this is done, we're going to keep the rest of them the same and click OK. I'm going to click run once and see if this works. So click run once and it should be loading. And you can see, once you have this bubble over here, it means that the module has worked and this app has done exactly what we want. So now you can click open over here. You can see the input over here is the message we gave it previously. So you can open this up, you can see the content that we talked about just now. And you can see the output over here. So it's really cool. It provides a new inspirational quote for me. And he also addressed me in this quote, telling me that every step I take today leads closer to your dreams. Keep moving forward. So really fantastic and exactly what I want. Now I'm just going to rename this to make it easy for me to see. So I'm just going to call this Inspirational Writer. Awesome. Now once this is done, the next thing I want to do is to send it to my email every single day. And from here, we're going to add a new module, click Gmail, and I'm going to click send an email. So I want to send it directly to me every single day. So if you haven't had it yet, you're going to have to just sign in with Google, connect your API keys, follow the instructions, and you will have a page just like this. Once it's done, we're going to add in the email address that we want to send to. So I'm going to send to my email address, cal@dainami.ai, and I'm done. And the subject, we can say something like start your day inspired. Now for the content part, we can keep it simple, but what I find useful in an automation workflow is to have an HTML format to make sure the email formatting looks okay. So what we have to do is to just go into a free HTML editor. So you can find html5-editor.net, and this is a free one, and we can create an email template over here that we can copy over into Make. So let's say I want to write, hey Cal, and I'm going to put in insert quotes and text, and then I'm going to write regards Mr. Motivation. Awesome. You can see over here it's generated the HTML quote for us. So we're just going to copy this. Okay. We're going to go back to Make, paste this in, and I'm going to replace insert quote and text with the result, which is the text that we have gotten previously. Once it's done, we're going to click OK and click Save. And this time, let's run it once and see what happens. So let's click Run Once. And you can see over here the email has been sent. So let's check this out. Let's go into Gmail. You can see over here I do have a new email sent to me. Start with the title that I want, start your day inspired. It has the quote and the inspirational text and the format that we want. So this is super cool, and just like that, you have your very own automation process that sends you inspirational quote every single day. And now going back to Make, all you gotta do is to schedule this by either playing it at regular intervals of either 15 minutes. And let's say you want to send it every single day, you can set it as every day at a specific time, and it will send it to your email automatically on a daily basis. So I hope this example now helped you to understand how you can create an automation workflow just like this right away. But of course, this is just the simplest level, and in the next two examples, I'm going to show you how we can elevate this to the next level and do even crazier things with our automation workflow. So now let's check out level 2 and how it works. Now after understanding basic AI automation and how you can convert your ideas into a full-fledged working automation, we're going to move into level 2 on how you can improve this automation workflow. Using the same example, let's say we want to also generate images based on a quote and send it via email. So we don't want to just have a text. we want to have an inspirational image sent to us on a daily basis. How can we do so? Now, instead of just daily quotes, we're going to add in a prompt creator as well as an image generator to generate the image for us. So in theory, how would this work? Firstly, we're going to have the daily quotes generator to generate the quotes for us. After it creates the quote for us, we use GPT to generate image prompts that's relevant to the quote of the day. From there, we're going to pass the image prompts to the image generator, who then use DALL-E to generate an inspirational image for us for the day. After this is done, we're going to consolidate all of them and send it to email. And from here, you can see, just by expanding this workflow, we're going to get a more exciting automation workflow right away. So now let's get right into the building of it. We're going to leave this page and we're going to go into Make and we're going to expand on this scenario. Now we're going to unlink this and we're going to pull this far away and we're going to add a new module. We're going to choose OpenAI. We're going to choose Create a Completion once again. And from here, we're going to choose our model. We're going to choose GPT-4o once again. And we're going to add message, choose the role, user, and we're going to give it a prompt. So I'm going to link it to the first results, which is the text quote generated by GPT. I'm going to ask it to craft an image prompt to generate an image with DALL-E 3. Ignore all the text and reference beyond the quote prompt, as we want it to only reference the inspirational quote of the day. Click OK, and we're going to rename this to Image Prompt Generator. Okay, and just to show you how it works, we're going to click Run once again. And I'm just going to turn this off as we don't want this to be automating every 15 minutes. So once that's done, we're going to come back to this. Let's take a look. You see over here it's created an image prompt for us, and these can be used to generate our image later on. So this is perfect. Now we're going to add in another module. We're going to click plus, add a module, and this time we're going to select generate an image. Okay, from here we're going to choose DALL-E 3 as our model, and we're going to choose the result of the image prompt generator as the prompt. Click OK. We're going to change this, rename this to DALL-E image generator. Done. Now perfect. From here we're just going to run this once again and see what happens. Okay, perfect. Now you can take a look at the DALL-E image generator. Look at the output over here, the data. Open this and expand this. You can see over here we do have a URL for the image generated. So let's open this and see what we get. And see, wow, beautiful image generated. And let's go back to Make to see if it's relevant. You can see over here, if we go back to the quote, it's about embracing the morning light with hope. For every sunrise is a new chapter filled with endless possibilities. So look at this image. It does represent a world of new possibilities with a sunrise, and so that's really beautiful, and these can be used as an image to send to us together with the quote. So that's nice. So once we have that, we want it to be sent to our email in a nice manner. So now let's come back to the HTML editor, and you can see over here, this is a format that we want. So for example, I want it to have the same thing. Hey Cal, here's a little something to get you started, and this time I want to add in the daily motivation. I will have something like this. You could also use insert, edit an image, and this could help you create the format that you want. So for example, I'll click this, insert, edit an image. I'll click the source as youtube.com. Click OK. And you can see over here, it will give you a HTML code like this. And what you're going to do later is to then change the information over here in Make to connect it to the image URL generated. So once we have this format, we're going to have a simple text to start. Here's a little something to get you started. We're going to have the image sent right after. We want to have the quote below the image. And then lastly, we can add in another text saying stay awesome and then cheers, Mr. Motivation. So this format is something a little bit better and may look nicer. So we're going to copy this. Okay, we're going to go back to our automation. We're going to link up our Gmail and we're going to paste this in. Okay, from here, once again, like I said, we're going to link it to our URL. So we're going to find data, click URL, and this is where you can get an image to be generated in the Gmail. And then from here, we want to make sure the quote is linked properly as well. So we're going to find the quote, click results, and it's linked in nicely. Click OK and done. Now let's run this once again and see what happens. Alright, perfect. You see it has worked perfectly. So let's go back to Gmail and see what we get. Amazing. You can see over here in the email, we do have the text, a little something to get you started. Here's a new image that's generated right away. And then we have the quote over here, stay awesome, cheers, Mr. Motivation. So really beautiful. You can see just simple 2 more steps, you could get your automation elevated, and now you could even have image sent directly to you every single day. And now, of course, as a bonus for this video, let's see if we can further enhance this automation workflow and bring it to the next level as well in level 3. So let's get into that. So now you can see up to here, we've only done this automation for ourselves. But what if we want to bring it to the next level and we want to do this as an application or something that we can do for other people? And that's where level 3 comes in, where we can do something even more exciting. So let's say we want to now allow users to type in their problems via a web app, and we're going to send them a motivational quote and images based on their problems, specifically to boost their day. Right, so now we're going to transform our automation workflow to not just send quotes and images every single day, but this time we're going to address it to users' problems and send inspirational quotes to them every single day to brighten up their day. And this could now impact way more people with our automation, and perhaps this application could even become a business of itself. So how are we going to build that exactly, right? Firstly, we can use something like Tally, which is a no-code and low-code builder to help us create a form where users can add in their information right away. Following that, I'm going to use something like Cart, which I'm going to show you in a second, to create a beautiful web app so that users can interact with that instead. From there, remember we talk about custom and webhook, and that's where we're going to send in the information from our users, such as their problems, their email, and their names to the motivational speaker. The motivational speaker chat will now create quotes and address them directly according to their problems. From there, we're going to then have a subject line writer. Right, according to their problems, we're going to have a subject line writer to create subject lines that's personalized for the email to each of the user. And then afterwards, similarly, we're going to have a prompt creator to create image prompts for us based on their quotes and problems. And then we're going to have the image generator to generate the image. And all of these will then be sent to them via email. So now let's build them together step by step. Let's go. Okay, so firstly, you want to go into tally.so and create an account, a free account. And once that is done, you want to create a form. And each of these forms is where the users will get to put in their information later on. So here's a form that I have created previously, and you can take a look. Over here, you can just type / and you will be able to add in information for your form. I'm going to start off with a title that says get your daily inspiration, and I'm going to add an emoji over here. Next up, I'm just going to add in 3 different fields of information that I want from the user. The first one is what's your name, and I'm going to use a short answer for this. So I can do this by clicking /, press short answer, and I'm going to type what's your name. Okay, once this is done, you want to keep this as required. If you click away, it will not be required. And you can go back to the settings section over here. You can click required, and you can set the default answer minimum characters, maximum characters. I will keep this as empty for now. Okay, once this is done, you want to add in an email as well. Similarly, you do the same thing by typing / and you choose a email, and then you're going to type in what's your email. Okay, and lastly, we're going to add in a long text. Right, so we're going to click / again. We're going to find long answer, and we're going to type what's bothering you today. Now, once we have all of this, our simple form is sort of completed, so we're just going to click publish. Now, this form just looks very simple right now, so we definitely want to create a more beautiful and nicer to interact interface for our users. So we're going to go into cart.co, and over here you can choose a starting point to start. So once again, Cart is a one-page site builder that allows you to build many different sites in minutes and seconds. So they do have many different templates that you can choose from over here. So you can select one of them and create your own example. So I'm just going to show you what I've done so you can follow along accordingly. But the format that I've chosen is this specific template. So once I click select, you will be able to see a full template over here where you can edit the different information accordingly. So I'm just going to show you the final result over here. Right, so once I have this over here, I have deleted every single other field below as I do not need them. I've changed this first text to your daily dose of inspiration as my main title. And I've added in some subtext, which are things like feeling down, not to worry, we got you. Just fill up some of the information below and get a freebie from us to boost your day. Lastly, I'm going to add in the tally form, and this is where you're going to add in a code. And so how I'm going to do that is to click plus over here to add in all these different functions. I'm just going to choose embedded, right? And you're going to have this code over here. Once that's done, you're going to go back to tally. You're going to click embedded form. You're going to choose standard. And from here, you can have the background as transparent or choose your settings. And once that is done, you're going to click get the code. And from here, we're going to choose the HTML code over here. Copy this. Okay. We're going to go back to cart, click code, embed it. We're going to paste it all over here in this code section. Once it's done, click done, and we're going to save this. And what's cool is that you can publish to a custom URL over here, so you can directly let users try it right away. So I'm going to call this daily dose of inspiration, and I'm going to publish my changes, and let's see what happens. We're going to view site now, and we can see what happens. This is a beautiful, simple site to get us started. Of course, we can further enhance this, but for now, in this simple example, we're just going to keep this as a placeholder. Okay, we have all this information over here. I can type in my name, my email, and I can say I am feeling down from work today. And let's see, if we click submit, we will get this information sent all the way to tally. So let's go back to tally and see what happens. Go into get your daily inspiration. You can see the response has been added here. So I can expand this submission. I have the name, the email, and what's bothering me today. Awesome. So with all this information, we're now going to send it to our automation in Make and now create our workflow to send them back an email. Okay. So coming back to main, we're going to use the same format and we're going to expand this over here. I'm going to unlink this, I'm going to delete this module, and I'm going to start off with a new module. And the first module I'm going to create is the tally module, and I'm going to click watch new responses, and you're going to add in a new hook over here. Make sure to connect your API connection to tally. So all you got to do is to click add and follow the instructions to get your tally connection done. Once that's done, you're going to choose the form ID, and just now I've created a form, get your daily inspiration, and this is the one that I want to use. I'm going to call this webhook daily inspiration, and I'm going to click save. Done. Perfect. Click OK. Perfect. Now, just to make sure it works, we're going to run this once again. I'm going to resubmit my application in the form. So I'll refresh this. I'm going to type in my name, Cal at dainami.ai. I am feeling down at work today. Submit. Now you can see the information has been sent over here, and this is what we talk about, which is a webhook sending all the information into our automation workflow that we can use later on. So you can see over here the fields. What's your name, Cal? What's your email? Cal at dainami.ai. What's bothering you today? I'm feeling down at work today. So now we have received the information. We can now pass it through ChatGPT to create the emails for us. Okay, next one I'm going to do is to have our motivational speaker back again. Choose the model as GPT-4o. I'm going to add a message over here. Choose user. This time I'm going to add in a different text content. You can see over here I've come up with a longer text content. So I'm just going to fill this up as the what's bothering you today? What's your name? Okay. So now I can see over here I've created a longer prompt, and I'm just going to run through this with you. Not to worry, once again, download all the resources in the link in the description below to gain access to every single workflow and prompts for each of the different levels that you can look through again in your own free time. But just to run through with you, you can see this prompt over here. Now I'm using information from the webhook from Tally. I want it to craft a motivational quote based on what's bothering them today. And so I've added in the information of what's bothering you today from Tally. Secondly, I also addressed the recipient personally by name, which is from the field, what's your name? Now ChatGPT knows that he has to address the person by its name. And from there, I want to make sure that the quote given is even better than before. I want the text to be relatable to their problems and inspires them. Right? I also want to ensure that it's no longer than 100 words. So you can see over here now I'm adding in some more instructions to make sure ChatGPT works closer to what I want compared to the generic answers we had previously. I want it to return the answer in a format that I want, such as insert motivational quote, text, and personally addressing the recipient. Lastly, I give it an example output to give an example of what's a good reply, right? And you can see over here, this is something that I want it to use as a template to create its own quotes later on. Okay, once this is done, I'm going to change this to Mr. Motivational. So now let's run this once to see how this works. So instead of filling up the form again, we're just going to run this module only. We're just going to add in some dummy information to see how this works. So I can add in an information for what's bothering you today, such as I just lost my job today, and I can key in my name as Samuel this time, just to see if it actually works according to what we want. So let's click OK, and let's see what happens. Okay, so you can see the results are exactly according to what we want. So it actually addresses the problem, which is the loss of the job. It has the format that we ask it to do in the example. It also addresses Samuel instead of Cal, so that's great. And the text is also very personalized to the problem, so this is perfect. And we're just going to continue the rest of the workflow. Next time, we're going to connect it to a subject line writer as well. So once again, create a completion. And from here, I'm going to choose the model, GPT-4o, and add a message, role user. I'm going to add in a prompt that I have before. Once again, you can copy these from my resources below. Okay, so similarly, I'm going to ask you to create a subject line based on the motivational quote, as well as what's bothering them today. Keep the subject line to less than 10 words and make sure to have the recipient's name in it. So very specific, and we're going to click OK. And once again, let's rename this to subject line writer. And now let's run this once to see what happens. Run this module. Similarly, Samuel lost my job. Result would be from here. We're going to copy this and we're going to paste it in. Click OK. And let's see how it works. Perfect, you can see over here, a very nice subject line. So it says, Samuel, embrace new beginnings, a bright path awaits. So this is amazing, and it's actually very personalized and customized, which I love for the emails that we're going to be sending to our users. Once this is done, let's quickly finish up the workflow. So we're going to connect it to the image prompt generator, the DALL-E generator, as well as our Gmail. Now let's make sure that the image prompt generator has the right information. So we want it to get the image result from Mr. Motivational, based on the quotes given from Mr. Motivational, generate an image prompt. Ignore all the text and reference beyond the quoted prompt. Awesome. Click OK. For the image generator, it should still be linked to the image prompt generator, so this should be good. Don't have to change it. Lastly, for Gmail, we want to change up the information starting with the subject line. This time it's coming from our subject line writer, right? So we're going to choose the result here, which is very specific to our user. And then from here, we're going to change this up. I'm just going to paste in a format that I have. Over here, instead of saying hey to Cal, we're going to say hey to the username. And from here, we're just going to add in the new image data. We're going to choose from the DALL-E image generator. We're going to choose data, URL, make sure to add it in. And we're going to add in the result, which is from Mr. Motivational, the quote, and that should be good. And we're going to change the email address as well. So we're going to add in the email over here. What's your email? And that's done. You can see over here now in this level 3 example, we actually cater all of this information uniquely to our user. You can see the email address is directly addressed to whatever the user put in the teleform. The subject is also catered to them. The content is also unique for each of them. And so we're going to click OK. And now let's save this. And this time, let's give it a try and see what happens. So we're going to click run once. Okay, we're going to go back to our form. Refresh this. And now let's put in the name. This time let's call ourselves Tam. And our email is just going to put our own email to showcase how it works so that we can see the email. And then what's bothering you today, we can say, I am feeling down today because my dog is sick. Okay, we're going to have a different information and let's see what happens. Click submit. And this time, let's see the automation run. You can see over here it's running perfectly. So awesome. Let's give it a while. All right, now it's done. Let's go back to our email and see what we get. So let's come back to email. You can see it's addressed Tam. Sunshine awaits you and your furry friend. So you can see it's already more personalized to our problem. So that's really cool. You can see while the image has an image of a dog and a person. So once again, you can kind of see where this is going. Right? You can see the text over here. When the storm passed, the sun shines even brighter, Tam. I know it's tough to see your furry friend unwell, but remember that brightness follows the darkest times. Your love and care are the guiding lights that will help your dog heal. Keep believing and nurturing that bond. Stay awesome, Mr. Motivation. Awesome. So this is really very personalized and once again bring our automation from level 1 to level 3, now making it into a responsive and dynamic application that allows you to not only send emails to yourself, but also cater these emails and personalize to each of these different users based on the form that they send to you. So I really hope this showcased to you the unlimited potential of AI automation just by changing it up to suit different use cases. And so of course, there's so much more we can do with this as well. As you can see from level 3, just by changing out the prompt, you can see we get different results from our AI automation right away. Now, of course, those are just simple levels. And what you really want to do at the advanced level is to not only use custom prompts, but to create AI agents to build specific tasks for you. And to understand more about that, you can check out my prompt guide on how I build AI agents to help you build more effective GPTs and prompts to help you elevate your automation to the next level. For that, today's tutorial only covers a simple example of one type of work. So if you want to learn more about AI automations, you can check out my AI automation playlist where I've created many different use cases to showcase to you the potential of AI automations. So you can check it out and learn and adapt these different workflows for your own specific use cases. So do check that out. So if you have stayed to the end, I really applaud you and you're now one step ahead in your AI automation journey and your AI superpower awaits. If you like videos like these, do keep it a like and subscribe, and I do have more exciting AI automation tutorials coming your way. Till then, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.